J-Bone here, and I've got everything you need to know before you watch this weekend's 2025 F1 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, so let's get right into it. J-Bone! First and foremost, I need to give the disclaimer that I am obliged to give every single year when the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix rolls around. No sporting event on planet Earth has a worse name than Formula One's Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and here's why. First, the event's official name is maybe the longest official name of any sporting event on planet Earth. It's the Formula One Amazon Web Services Gran Premio del Made in Italy e dell'Emilia-Romagna 2025. That whole double naming rights situation is such a money grab, and you should expect nothing less from Formula One. To make matters worse, not only does nobody call this race by that official name, since it is so incredibly long, but nobody even calls it by its shortened name, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Why? Because everyone just calls it Imola, which is the name of both the city in which the race takes place and the name of the circuit at which the race takes place. If both the city and circuit are called Imola, they obviously should have just named the race the Imola Grand Prix, right? Except, to make matters even worse, somehow, while everyone calls the racetrack Imola, that is not even the circuit's real name, which is the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. And folks, if we go back in time, you get the worst fact of all here, the fact that Imola's Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari hosted the National Grand Prix for the country of San Marino for 26 consecutive years from 1981 through 2006, despite the fact that the circuit is located in Italy and not the country of San Marino. Just truly the most confusing name situation imaginable, but honestly, it's so bad that I kind of respect it. If you can think of a sporting event with a worse name, let me, J-Bone, know in the comments because I want to see it. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get to talking about the race. The Formula One Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix takes place this weekend at the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari in Imola, Romagna, Emilia-Romagna, Northern Italy, Europe, Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Laniakea Supercluster, Universe, Multiverse. The Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix weekend starts this Friday, May 16th, which will consist of free practices 1 and 2. Saturday, May 17th, will consist of free practice 3 and qualifying, and Sunday, May 18th, will consist of the Grand Prix. This weekend's race will mark the 5th ever running of the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, which has been held every year since 2020, aside from 2023, when it was canceled due to intense flooding in Italy's Emilia-Romagna region. Now, before we move on to talking about Imola's circuit, it would be awesome if you could toss this video a like, so I'm trying to hit 6,000 likes on it so that YouTube likes J-Bone more, and also so YouTube shows my race previews to more people this season than last season. It's 100% free to like this video, and it truly does help me out in a big way, so thank you for your consideration. J-Bone! The Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, aka the Imola circuit, is 4.909 kilometers or 3.05 miles in length, and the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix will be contested over the course of 63 laps around its 19 turns. In general, the Imola circuit is probably best known for these three things. Number one, it's known for being a circuit with minimal overtaking. This is not only due to Imola only having one DRS straight, but also due to its narrow track width and minimal runoff areas, both of those being features common to legacy circuits like Imola that were designed for much shorter and much narrower cars than modern-day F1 cars. And when you pair all of that with Imola's design that is very winding and makes it hard for modern-day F1 cars to follow close due to dirty air, you get a race with less overtakes than others. Number two, Imola is known for Acqua Minerale, one of Formula One's most famous corners. Acqua Minerale consists of turns 11, 12, and 13, and is a super challenging right, left sequence with elevation change that is tricky to drive in video games, so I honestly cannot even imagine how tricky it is in real life to drive during qualifying and the Grand Prix. And number three, Imola is known for being the site of one of the darkest weekends in F1 history that saw the deaths of both Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna in 1994. This tragic weekend led to numerous circuit changes made in the name of safety that are still in place today, most notably the addition of 2 chicanes on what used to be the full speed start of a lap at Imola. Something Imola is not well known for, but that I think is interesting, is this fact: Imola is the only circuit aside from Monza to ever host an Italian Grand Prix, which it did one time ever in 1980 when Monza was undergoing some renovations. Even if you think it's a bit overhyped, AI is suddenly everywhere, from customer service to Formula Auto racing. If it's not in your industry yet, it's coming fast. But AI needs a lot of speed and computing power, so how do you compete without costs spinning out? Time to race to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a blazing fast and secure platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, plus all your AI and machine learning workloads. OCI costs 50% less for compute and 80% less for networking. That's a lot of prize money. Thousands of businesses have already upgraded to OCI, including Vodafone, Thomson Reuters, and Suno AI. Right now, Oracle is offering to cut your current cloud bill in half if you move to OCI. For new US customers with minimum financial commitment, offer ends May 31st. See if your company qualifies for this special offer at oracle.com/bone. That's oracle.com/bone. All right, here are your 3 storylines to follow for the 2025 F1 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. Your first storyline, join me in welcoming Argentinian superstar driver Franco Colapinto back to the Formula One grid. I'm going to celebrate Franco's return the only way I know how, con yerba mate and mi calabaza. Jota hueso! In honor of Franco's return, I definitely need to add these to the Formula Bone set somewhere, so I'm just going to find... There we go. After the Miami Grand Prix, it was shockingly announced not only that Alpine team principal Oliver Oakes would be resigning from the team with immediate effect to be replaced by controversial figure Flavio Briatore, but also that Alpine driver Jack Doohan would be replaced by Franco Colapinto for the next 5 Grand Prix weekends, with Imola being Franco's first race with the French team. Kinda seems like a conflict of interest considering Flavio Briatore is literally Franco Colapinto's manager, but hey, that's F1 for ya. This driver change has been rumored ever since Alpine signed Franco as their reserve driver at the beginning of the year, and also ever since details leaked that Doohan's 2025 Alpine contract was only for the first 6 races, the likes of which I should note now look pretty credible considering that's precisely how long Doohan was given. Had Jack Doohan had a better start to his F1 career, maybe he would have been given a longer leash, but considering he currently is in second to last place with 0 points, he did not exactly make a great case for himself, which is why Alpine decided to try out a more experienced and more proven F1 point scorer in Franco Colapinto. Now is Colapinto's turn to prove that he deserves Alpine's second seat, and considering his solid string of performances last season when he filled in for Logan Sargent at Williams, I think Franco might have an Alpine seat for a little longer than Jack Doohan did. Your second storyline, it is officially Formula One car upgrade season. In case you're new to Formula One, F1 teams do not finish a season with the same car that they started it with, unless they either don't have the resources to improve their cars, or they are putting all their resources into the following year's car because they think their current car is so non-competitive. Rather, F1 teams are almost always constantly working on their cars all season long in an effort to make them as fast as possible. The fruit of teams' labors in this department come in the form of car upgrades, which are things like reprofiled floors, differently shaped side pods, and front wing redesigns that teams believe will lead to them finding time thanks to improved concepts and aerodynamics after looking at their car's data from previous race weekends as well as from wind tunnel testing. Imola marks the first European race of the 2025 F1 season, and with the season's first European race generally comes the addition of the first and/or the most upgrades onto cars that you will see all season long. Why? Because all F1 teams have European headquarters, and it is logistically easier and cheaper for upgrades to be sent within Europe rather than across the globe. The start of car upgrade season almost always sees at least one team shoot up the order thanks to spot-on upgrades, most recently McLaren, and I am mega excited to see if we see any upgrade surprises this weekend. Please, Haas, you can do it. I'm not just saying this because I have Haas delusion syndrome, I believe. Your third storyline, will the downtrodden Scuderia Ferrari F1 team be able to right the ship this weekend at their home race in Italy? When Lewis Hamilton decided to leave Mercedes for Ferrari in 2024, I'm pretty sure that he did not think he'd be driving around 2025's 5th fastest car behind McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull, and Williams. Yes, I said Williams. But when you look at the most recent race weekend in Miami, that's somehow where Ferrari are shockingly at, just 6 race weekends removed from when they narrowly missed out on being named 2024's World Constructors Champions in Abu Dhabi. Ferrari clearly got something very, very wrong with this season's Challenger that they absolutely need car upgrades in order to fix, and if they are not able to do so, they will be squandering an incredible driver lineup and team principal combination that may literally be Formula One's best. And also, they'll be squandering a car that should be challenging for race wins based on last season's success and what we saw from Ferrari in China at the sprint race. All that is to say that this weekend, Ferrari and Tifosi around the globe will be praying to the new American Pope that the upgrades that they add, plus the vibes that they get from racing at an Imola circuit with Ferrari literally in its name, will be enough to see them hop directly into success, or at the very least, hop onto a development path that can carry them to more podiums than they are getting right now. Do you think Ferrari will be able to find the podium this weekend at one of their home Italian races? Let me, J-Bone, know in the comments. Next up, here are J-Bone's Emilia-Romagna Grand picks for Imola, brought to you by Grid Rivals Picks Game. Grid Rivals Picks Game gives race fans like you and me the chance to turn our F1 knowledge into money simply by making correct race predictions on the Grid Rival app. And here are my Grid Rival picks for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix that I'm hoping to turn into some dough. My first Emilia-Romagna Grand pick is Max Verstappen to finish better than P3. Max has won every Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix run aside from the first one, where he was on to finish P2 before a puncture. So you're essentially just picking Max to keep on doing what he does at Imola here and getting a push if he finishes P3. My second pick is Lance Stroll to finish within 2 places of Liam Lawson. Lance finished in the points at Imola last season, and if he comes even close to replicating that, he should finish at least within 2 places of Lawson. My third pick is Esteban Ocon to finish 4 or more positions ahead of Nico Hülkenberg. My Haas delusion syndrome has me believing that Haas have a solid rebound weekend at Imola, while my Sauber realism syndrome has me believing they'll be continuing to stink at Imola. And my final pick is Franco Colapinto to finish P14 or better. Not including DNFs, Colapinto has never finished a race lower than P14 in his F1 career, and I don't think he starts with this first race at Alpine considering how solid their car has looked at times this year. If all 4 of these hit, I'll be turning $5 into $50, and whether you want to follow my Grid Rival Emilia-Romagna Grand picks, do the exact opposite of them because you think I'm wrong, or you want to make your own entirely different picks, you can get a $100 deposit match when you use my code BONE on the Grid Rival app, which you can download through the unique download link in the description now. Terms and conditions and age and location restrictions apply, and lines may have changed since this recording. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for, here are my 3 bona fide race predictions for the 2025 F1 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola. But first, I, J-Bone, messed up with my Miami prediction results, and I'm taking accountability right now. Here's what happened. In my Miami Grand Prix recap, I gave myself a correct prediction point for saying Yuki would have his best result of the season in Miami. In declaring this, I forgot that Yuki, who finished P6 in the Miami sprint race, also finished P6 in the China sprint race, and thus he tied his best result in Miami instead of having his best result, meaning my prediction did not come true. I'm an honorable man, which is why I'm making this correction and taking away a point from myself. Now, with that being said, I will not be revising the previous half-point predictions that you guys keep complaining about because I make the rules and half points do exist, so quit asking. Comment half points do exist if you agree with J-Bone. With all that being said, after the Miami Grand Prix, I'm currently at 7 for 18 on the season, not 8 for 18, which isn't even that much better, and I'm still currently on track to become L-Bone if I don't get back above 50% before the second half of the season in 6 more races. I gotta do good here. My first Imola prediction is that Lando Norris will win the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. Here's the deal. Oscar Piastri has to lose eventually, right? And if he loses, Lando probably wins, right? Well, considering both of those things and how Lando has finished on the Imola podium each of the last 2 runnings, with him very close to winning last season, my heart is officially all in on Lando winning at Imola, even though my brain says it'll be Oscar. My second prediction is that George Russell will not finish on the Grand Prix podium for just the 3rd time this season. Not only have Mercedes not finished on the Imola podium in the current regulation era, but with McLaren's 2025 dominance, Max's recent Imola dominance, and upgrades being brought to Imola by teams like Ferrari this weekend, I think there is a very good chance that George does not make the podium that he has made 2/3 of the time this season. My third prediction is that Haas will finish in the points after back-to-back race weekends outside of them. I have no reasoning here, only my diagnosed Haas delusion syndrome and just pure unadulterated vibes. Haas! Now for the most important part of this video, what are your predictions for the 2025 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix at Imola? Let me know in the comments. And last but not least today, here is my prediction for the top 5 finishers in the 2025 Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix with zero reasoning nor explanation. P5, George Russell. P4, Charles Leclerc. P3, Max Verstappen. P2, Oscar Piastri. And P1, Lando Norris. Toss me a subscription now and ring that notification bell so that you'll get my combined Imola Grand Prix recap and Monaco Grand Prix preview video next week right when it drops. And while you're doing that, do not forget to like this video so that YouTube likes J-Bone more. It really does help me out. Special shout out to my top YouTube channel members, Joe Max's and Hater Snow, Brian Linton, Wolfslow's Racing, Waffleopicus, Melissa Cruz, Elmar Super, and David Hey! Mash that join button just below this video to get your name shouted out right here in future videos. And if you want to join 1,000 plus F1 fans in the free to join Formula Bone Discord community, you can go do that through the join link in the description. Until next time, folks, J-Bomb! J-Bone!